Hello everyone, hope that you're well. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow for our wonderful Latin revision day. I just thought I'd do a practice unseen from 2022, and even because Laura asked about them, show you some of the brackets. I don't usually use brackets, so I might do it wrong in there, but I think that they can be quite useful for some people, so we'll see what happens here. Again, just make sure that you're okay with some of the big grammar points. If any of them stand out, then look them up, ask me, ask somebody else, but now's the time to be making sure that we're all very comfortable with the grammar. I thought this was I thought this wasn't too difficult, but I should always be aware of hubris. Primo concursu. In the first battle, the Romans were superiores, comparative, adeo, to such an extent. As soon as I see that to such an extent, I'm looking for an ut plus the subjunctive, which is going to tell me that you are dealing with a result clause. In the first charge, the Romans were superior to such an extent that they not only were victorious, that they not only were victorious in the battle line, akie, note the vincerent subjunctive there, but with the pulsos hostes, but having driven back the army, they pursued them into the camp. Mox, soon, terrible brackets here, and soon they were also attacking the camp itself. And soon they were attacking the camp. Hannibal, comma, with Paucis, with a few defenders placed in the rampart and on the gates. So having placed, let's make that ablative absolute better. Remember, we're avoiding the whole with something having been something. We want to make that more fluent. So Hannibal, start of the new one, with a few defenders placed on the, after placing a few defenders on the rampart and on the gates, he received the others, he took in the others gathered together into the middle of the camp, and he ordered them to wait intent or intently for a sign ad erumpendum gerund, to burst out. Jam. Now it was almost the 9th hour of the day when Sempronius, with his milite, with his army, exhausted, so now it was almost the 9th hour of the day when Sempronius, with his army, exhausted to no avail, literally for no reason, with no success, after there was no hope of Castris, of taking the camp, of capturing the camp, potiendi, gerundiv there, agreeing with the Castris, he gave the signal to retreat. Dedit signum. He gave the signal to retreat. When Hannibal realized this connecting relative, don't use because there, look for these connecting relatives, people forget them every year. Having immediately ex templo, that's exactly the kind of word, I couldn't immediately remember that. I couldn't remember that word when I saw it. That's exactly the kind of word that you can be looking up during the vocab. It's not too difficult. It just obviously, as the adverb, just adds to the sentence, but an easy one to be looking up during those 15-minute reading times. So he immediately sent out his cavalry. Against the in hostem, literally you could say into, doesn't sound very good, against the enemy on the dextra and laeva, on the right and left. So Hannibal, when he realized this, immediately, ex templo, sent out his cavalry, emissis, ablative absolute here, but having sent out his cavalry, after he sent out his cavalry immediately, ex templo, against the right and left of the enemy. So having sent out his cavalry against the enemy on the dextra and the laeva, on the right and the left, he himself burst out with his infantry from the middle of the camp. Medis castris. Here I see a pluperfect subjunctive. I'm looking for a conditional. We've actually flipped the two sides of that. If dies, if daylight had allowed the the battle to be extended, either the Romans or the Carthaginians would have won. So we've actually flipped the two sides of the conditional clauses over, but it's very simple. Either the Romans or the Carthaginians would have won, hence the pluperfect subjunctive, contrary to fact, if daylight had allowed the battle to be extended to carry on. There's your conditional contrary to fact. However, night interrupted the battle. Hope that was useful, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Cheerio, everybody.